Good day, subscribers. Hope you guys are having a great day out there. As always, today we're gonna make two companies compete against each other. We're talking Uber stock versus Tesla stock, and what is the better investment in my personal opinion, all right? Now, first off, there's gonna be some people out there that say, why even make these two companies compete? Why make Uber compete against Tesla? Why even compare these two companies? They don't compete at all today, okay? And so here's our job as long-term investors in the stock market. Our job is to look around the corner and see who's going to be competing with who in the future, who are going to be the massive competitors in different spaces 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, not just worrying about what's going on today. If all you're worried about is what's going on today, you've already lost the battle. The battles and the wars that will be won in the future are all about what's going to happen in the future, okay? And if I look around the corner, I'm seeing Uber and Tesla become two massive Goliath competitors 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now, whereas a lot of people aren't even looking at these two companies as competitors. I'm looking at these two companies as massive competitors in the future, okay? Two of the most competitive companies in the entire transportation industry in future years will be these two companies, in my personal opinion, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy this. We're gonna get into this in depth. Who's the better stock? Which one has a higher likelihood of winning these different markets and whatnot? So I hope you guys enjoy this. As always, make sure to smash the thumbs up button. If you wanna know the top 5 stock market apps and websites I use every day, go ahead and join our messenger and we'll go ahead and send that over to you in a PDF, okay? So here's what I'm thinking. Here's why these two companies are absolutely on a crash course to compete strictly against each other, okay? If we look out, self-driving, in my opinion, is about 2 to 5 years out when I kind of look at where tech is at right now, what the self-driving vehicles can do. If you have a Tesla that has full autonomous mode as of right now and what that car can do and whatnot, if I'm looking at all the things that are out there and Waymo and those sorts of things, what I'm seeing is this technology is about 2 to 5 years away from full-scale adoption, and most governments will start to allow this once it's proven that it can be safer than an average driver, and especially safer than a good driver. Now, why would governments want to allow this? Well, one, it would actually help out the economy in a huge way. Traffic alone costs the economy a ton of money each year, and when you have accidents, the more and more accidents, it's not just about people getting hurt or people actually, like dying in a car accident. It's not just about that, but it's about if somebody gets in an accident on a highway, what happens to the highway? It gets very congested, traffic picks up, that actually hurts the overall economy. Obviously, the government wants the economy to do as well as possible so they can make more tax revenue and all those sorts of things, right? So if you're looking at this from an economic standpoint, government would love self-driving vehicles to already be here, not just because it would cut down injuries and deaths and whatnot, because it would actually help out the economy. When self-driving vehicles, and you have a ton of self-driving vehicles on a road, they'll actually be able to follow each other much quicker. They'll actually have way less accidents, because here's the thing, you have like 3 tiers of drivers on the roads on a given day. You have your bad drivers, which is a small percentage of the population, but even if they're a small percentage of the population, they are the type of people that are consistently in accidents. They're the type of people that are not very aware of what's going on the road. They're the types of people that just follow other vehicles. They just put everybody in danger when they're on the road, okay? Bad drivers. Most people fall into the average category of drivers, meaning they can foresee some things, they're pretty alert on the road, but they're not at a place where they can almost avoid all situations. There are some slip-ups they can make once in a while. There are some accidents they can create. And then you have the last category, which is a small percentage of drivers, which are really, really good drivers that are very alert on the road, and they'll pretty much never, ever cause an accident themselves. The only way they could possibly be involved in an accident is if they had no choice but to be in that accident because somebody like T-boned them or something and it was completely out of their control, okay? So as of right now, if I look at the current tech, and when it comes to autonomous driving and whatnot, we're somewhere in between bad and average. Over the next several years, I think we'll get to a place where it will be even better than a good driver. And the likelihood of you actually being involved in an accident is like, even less than if you were a really, really good alert driver out there, okay? And so if I'm looking at this, these two companies are on an absolute crash course with each other in the future, okay? Uber Uber needs self-driving vehicles so they can be profitable, because as of right now, this is a company that is bleeding a lot of money, and a lot of the money on each Uber ride actually goes to the driver themselves, okay? So imagine if you cut out the middleman, the driver, and the vehicle drives itself. Now Uber gets itself into a place where it has a much more likelihood of making big profits on the back end, okay? So Uber absolutely needs self-driving so they can actually, make a lot of money. Now, it is possible Uber down the road could make money even in manned vehicles, but I can tell you their likelihood of getting to massive profits, explodes if we can get to a self-driving vehicles sometime soon, okay? So they need it for profitability reasons. Tesla needs it for a couple different reasons. Tesla needs self-driving vehicles so they can really be the dominant auto sales company in the world. If Tesla wants to get to scale where they are selling millions upon millions of vehicles each and every year around the world, it can't just be that they're the biggest electric vehicle maker. We know a ton of folks are coming on and competing in the electric space over the coming years, but also if they can actually be the ones that have the best autonomous driving out of all the vehicles out there, then you're looking at something that puts a massive competitive moat around the company, because it's like, oh, it's not just about Tesla being a cool brand. Oh, it's not just about Tesla being electric, but these vehicles can literally drive themselves. And so that would put you into a situation where they have just a massive competitive advantage over all their competitors out there, okay? So they need that if they want to get to a place where they have really huge dominant sales, selling millions upon millions of vehicles a year, and they also have ambitions to have autonomous fleets, okay? So not only do they have their own vehicles that will basically be driving around and having an Uber-like service, but just there's no Uber driver in it, but also, if you own a Tesla like I do, you could actually add it to the fleet, and if you were like, let's say all night long, you're like, I don't need my car for anything, that car can go drive people around. Great, you can go ahead and you say, okay, I want people, to drive people around from midnight to 6 a.m. and boom, there the car goes and goes and drives people around, okay? So Tesla has huge ambitions in autonomous fleet. Uber obviously wants to get there for profitability reasons on a longer term basis. So there are two questions we got to answer now, okay? Who will actually win this? Is it more likely to be Tesla? Is it more likely to be Uber? And who has an actual better business as of right now? If we're talking today, who has a better business out of these two? Is it Uber or is it Tesla? Okay, so let's answer those two now. Alrighty guys, now let's go ahead and chat about where these business models are right now. Where's Uber's business model at right now? Where's Tesla's business model at right now, okay? So as of right now, Uber is the number one or number two player in ride-sharing service pretty much around the world. If you look at all the markets around the world, Uber's usually the number one player in pretty much every single market you would want to be in. If they're not, they're usually the number two player, okay? That is massive in itself, because that means most consumers out there are used to using this service to get transportation around, okay? Especially if they don't have a car or they just need some supplemental ride. They're very much in the habit of like getting an Uber ride, okay? And for a lot of us in, either United States or Europe, it's become like pretty synonymous that if you like even think about like getting a ride somewhere, you say, hey, are you going to get an Uber ride there, okay? It's kind of almost become a brand name, like a Kleenex or something like that, right? It's, oh, you're going to get an Uber ride there. It's just what people say, and that's amazing from a branding standpoint, and that's amazing from a psychological standpoint when you're talking about consumers out there, okay? Now, Tesla, they're the number one player in electric vehicles, okay? They're doing the biggest numbers by far. When it comes to electric vehicles, I mean, you look at their revenue numbers, they're now doing multi-billions of dollars of revenue each quarter, okay? And keep in mind, China is about to become a much bigger market for Tesla because of the Shanghai Gigafactory opening here in a few months, okay? Now, Uber and Tesla, they do have other businesses to them, okay? They don't just have these businesses, but if you're thinking about the core business of each company, for Uber, it's ride-sharing service, and for Tesla, it's all about electric vehicles, okay? So you're looking at two companies that are very forward-thinking, are in the space that you want to be, okay? Ride-sharing service, you would love to be the number one player in that, right? In electric vehicles, all vehicles are going electric in the future, and so if you're the number one player there, it's a very good thing. And when people think about electric vehicles, the first name by far and away that comes to their mind is a Tesla, okay? Just like the first name that comes to an average person if they're thinking about getting a ride somewhere is an Uber, okay? So both these companies, very big markets already they're going after, and remember, they got other businesses they're doing as well, okay? Tesla's a little over a $40 billion market cap as of right now, which is not too high when you kind kind of think about everything Tesla's going for and everything they're doing in the future, okay? Uber, on the other hand, is a little over a $60 billion market cap. So you are paying about a 50% premium roughly for basically buying Uber stock versus buying Tesla stock. And that's something you got to think about. Which one of these has a bigger chance of success in the future? At least as of right now, Wall Street's saying Uber because that market cap's obviously much bigger. But there are some individuals like myself that see Tesla as having this massive opportunity in the future and believe, a $40+ billion market cap is way too undervalued for this business, okay? If we look at also where the businesses are at right now, Tesla has positive free cash flow for 3 of the past 4 quarters. And this is big for the business overall, okay? People always have said, they can't get to a place where they have positive free cash flow. They can't get to a place where they're going to be profitable. They're starting to approach levels where they'll likely be profitable probably almost all quarters in 2020. And if they just cut back on spending a little bit here and there, they could, pretty much almost 100% for sure be a profitable company. They do have the ramp of Model Y coming in 2020, and that is expensive whenever you ramp a vehicle in mass like they're going to do. But if you're looking outside of that, it's a company that would likely be profitable every single quarter in 2020, and some of those quarters actually making some pretty good profits, okay? If you look at Uber as a negative free cash flow company, and on the bottom line, if you look at the actual net income, it's a company that's losing mass amounts of money. So if you're thinking about which business is closer to profitability, which business is closer to, always having a positive free cash flow, it is definitely Tesla over Uber as of right now. It doesn't mean Uber can't get to profitability and can't get to a place where they have very positive free cash flow in the future. I'm just saying, if you look at it right now, the company that's much closer to getting to that place, it is Tesla, okay? It's just, you look at the numbers and Tesla's just been trending the right way. Then you have Model Y coming, you have Shanghai Gigafactory coming. All those things should produce much better likelihood that the company can reach profitability, okay? Now, if you think, okay, if these companies do continue to take losses over the coming years, like who's got more funding connections? Well, both these companies have tons of funding connections, okay? Tesla has tons of funding connections. Elon Musk can raise money in any situation possible. He has connections to pretty much any investor you want, any bank out there you want. Like if Elon Musk needs a few $1 billion, he can raise it in a snap of a fingers, okay? He even raised money like during the recession and coming out of the recession. And that's when raising money, like the faucets were turned off during that time completely, okay? Like, the man's amazing when it comes to kind of like raising funding and whatnot. Uber, same exact thing. Uber's got plenty of connections. Everybody wants to see Uber succeed. It's a tech darling out of Silicon Valley. They have connections with anybody. So even if these companies took losses over the next few years, they have all the funding connections to get them through those losses, okay? Now, we got to talk about who will win self-driving. And these are 2 very different philosophies for how they're attacking this, okay? On one hand, you have Uber. Uber's attacking this problem with basically trying to make partnerships. We see them have a partnership with Volvo and whatnot now. They're trying to partner up with companies, almost like outsource some of it. And so they can have like ride-sharing fleets in the future and self-driving fleets in the future. But they don't actually build the car. They just have some of the tech behind it and whatnot. And they actually use other automobile manufacturers out there, okay? So they have a philosophy of we're going to partner our way to get there. And if you look at Tesla, it's a completely different philosophy. Tesla's completely in-house. They're saying we want to build the car, we want to build the technology. When it comes to self-driving, we want to build the electric batteries, we want everything. And we're going to actually operate the whole service network in itself, the autonomous fleet. We're going to operate that, okay? So Tesla's looking at it, we're going to do everything in-house, and Uber's looking at it as we're going to do some, but we're going to partner with others to kind of help get us there, okay? And if I think about which one of these is probably a better philosophy, I believe it is Tesla, okay? And this is why I believe Tesla has a great likelihood of actually being the #1 player when it comes to autonomous vehicles, because Tesla's doing all this in-house. And if I look at the tech that Tesla actually has out there in the real world right now, I'm not even talking about what they could have in 2 years from now or 3 years from now. I'm talking about what Tesla has in the market right now around fully autonomous vehicles and whatnot. If I look at their tech they have now, it's really unparalleled with any other auto manufacturer in the world. And so if I think about that, where Tesla's already at and how fast Tesla moves and how fast they get things done, and then you take into account like the fact that there's hundreds of thousands and potentially millions of Teslas getting on the road over the next coming years, and those vehicles will be, at least partially on autopilot systems, if not completely on autopilot systems, that's going to give mass amounts more of data to Tesla to make decisions systems better and better and better at driving. And that's how, remember earlier we talked about tiers of drivers, bad, average, and good. That's how Tesla likely over the next, year, 2 years, 3 years will get to a place where their vehicles are even better than good drivers, okay? So if I'm looking at this, I can definitely see Uber being successful there. I'm just thinking, I think Tesla actually has an advantage because of the mass amounts of vehicles and data. The data they're going to be able to collect is what will actually win them the battle when it comes to autonomous driving in the future, in my opinion. So if I'm looking at these two stocks, Uber's pretty interesting. Tesla, at the end of the day, is just more interesting, not just because of where their business model's at now, but the likelihood that they will actually win autonomous taxi networks, 5 years from now, 10 years from now out. And when we think about that market, it's such a big market all around the world, what that will end up being, that it shouldn't be overstated enough, guys. So huge opportunity for both these companies. I think Tesla has more of an advantage. Let me know your opinion in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. As always, make sure to smash the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.